We get to move into the second portion of the evening. If you are still here and within the sound of my voice, will you give yourselves a big round of applause for still being here for this open mic? Come on! This is part 2! This is where we get to stop talking about doing an art form and just do that form. Let's hear some words. Let's ingest some words. Let's get real vulnerable and courageous and generous with our listening ears. Let's do that thing. It's my favorite thing. Thank you for being so beautiful up front. I love this up front energy. Okay, so folks who are on the open mic sign up list, I'm going to go ahead and I will tell you always as we come up who is on deck, so you have that moment to prepare. I want to make sure, is Brian in the room? All right, Brian is in the room, thank you. So please join me and give me an extra warm welcome to our first reader, because being a first reader always takes a little extra courage. Yes, welcome Brian to the stage. Thank you, Brian.
Would you make sure that I've got the microphone?
I absolutely will. Come on up and let's make it exactly how you want it.
Hello?
There we go.
Does that work?
Yes.
All right. This vignette is from a novel I wrote 25 years ago about a young girl suffering from bipolar disorder. She has just ended up in a mental hospital after attempting suicide. By Brian Haynes. I wake up to the sound of laughing. In the hospital bed, I'm wearing a clean, crisp hospital gown. Nothing else but my underwear, except my bra. I wonder who took it. I wonder where I am. The laughing lady wants a cigarette from the orderly. He is black, but dressed in a white uniform. She paces more and more quickly. Each time he says that she can't smoke here. Her hospital gown is wrinkled and threadbare, and yet she keeps asking for a cigarette, as if she were entitled to it. Damn B, he says with hands in mock surrender. I'm clean. Anyway, you can't smoke here. You know that. Could you just close the curtain? I croak out. Something is making my throat dry. The lady peers at me in the rear of the room and saunters my way. Her blue eyes have no pupils. I don't have a cigarette, I say. Just please, quiet. What are you in for, she asks. Spittle flying. She doesn't pluck her eyebrows, and she sweats. Just leave me alone. She surveys me, and I feel the bruises on my head and my buttocks. They hurt. It looks like you tried to kill yourself by jumping, she says, like off a building. She's right on. I think the orderly told her, but I realize she has been in the room maybe a long time, maybe every time with someone like me. You look bipolar, she says. I should know. Why should you know, I ask, propped up on an elbow. That's why they put me in here, you know, to teach you the ropes. I'm pretty good at it. Spent 12 years in and out. It shows, don't it? Even in the dim light of the half-curtained door, I can tell she hasn't slept for quite a while, maybe even days like me. Her eyes remind me of the cobra snakes at the zoo, looking at me up and down with their cold-blooded slits. I cover up in bed and put the sheets together. Her anger tells the story. It sounds like she didn't mean to go wherever she did, but God's punishing her anyway. Then I can see myself inside of her, myself in 30 or 40 years, begging to tell my story, to make it feel so that guilt and the shame won't hurt so bad. I give her a friendly ear, but not out of kindness, out of pity, because I'm scared she'll do nothing for eternity. When they broke down the door, I was just lying in a pool of blood, she said. I was cutting my wrists. The pills I took made the whole body frigid. I had to see if the blood was still warm. The cops carried me on the bathroom rug into the living room. So I screamed for them to turn up the heat. It was so cold, I couldn't focus on anything. But God had come to me, and he couldn't miss me lying on the red rug, crying for some water. I pretend I'm asleep while my body throbs in pain. That's what they put me in for. And they gave me Stelazine. Sounds nice, don't it? I didn't take the pills for the first week. But when the voices came back, I made sure I take them just like I was supposed to. Made me drool, though, like some circus freak. I pretend I'm pretending to be asleep, and my head feels like the maracas exploding. I figured it was cheaper on everybody if I just went to the hospital. I was so sick and tired of depression, too. Groans and moans all the time. Drove myself crazy, but the real crazy was in me. That night, paramedics took me to the cell to await evaluation from the MHP. I was impatient, so I right away gave her the standard responses just to get in. You know, I'm a danger to myself and other people, or whatever. I got in. It always works. She pauses as if to check if I'm awake, you know, whether I was really asleep. I wonder for a second what an MHP is. Then, to my irritation, she goes on about the third and fourth time she was locked up. I try to ignore her and really fall asleep. But as I doze off, I dream about the day from morning to night. I believe that something she has just said will come to pass. Truth is my worst nightmare.
Thank you, Brian. This is a very exciting thing for me to get to bring these different forms of writing together. I, for many years, ran the Eugene Poetry Slam, so that kind of performance poetry is a specific thing, and it's one of my great joys to hang out with folks who write fiction and use story to share in other ways. So thank you so much. I'm glad we're bringing it all together. Okay, so on deck is Eric. Let's welcome Diana to the stage. Diana. Do we have Diana up here with us? Yeah, she's in the building. Okay, we'll circle back around. We gotta keep this thing going. Okay, so on deck is Mija. Someone tell me if Diana shows up. Let's welcome Eric to the stage. Are you ready? I'm sorry to do this to you, but one of my favorite poets and performers and storytellers. Woo woo!
Hello, dear friends. Hello! So my name is Eric Brayman. My pronouns are they, them, and since it is Pride Month officially kicking off, I figured I'd do a couple queer poems for you today. So my first one is an oldie. Some folks might have heard this one in the room if you've seen me in other spaces. It's one of my favorites that I wrote during the pandemic. So let's get into it. When I die, bury me in cherry blossoms. Preserve me in petunias. Place irises upon my eyes and crown me in carnations. I could never carry the kindness of Camus kissing the river's edge. I never found the freedom to sprout full bloom like fuchsia or geranium, so let my burial be a rainbow of red roses and blue violets, yellow yarrow and white wisteria. Let vines of morning glory wrap me, cocoon me, and compost me until I'm soil and clay. Let these atoms I hold transform and add texture to every wildflower in this field until my full spectrum is revealed, embedded in the faces of old friends. Trillium, tiger lily, larkspur and lavender, blackberry and begonia, every petal of the alphabet. Beauty and bounty, wild and wonder, full and free. Bury me in cherry blossoms. Remember me as colorful as spring. Thank you, friends. So that is about kind of wishing to live the life of my genderqueer identity is really what that's getting at. The wonderful rainbow and spectrum that we all exist within and express in different ways throughout our lives. Recently, I just went and traveled. I had the fortunate gift of being able to go walk the Camino de Santiago from Porto up to Santiago, Spain. And while I was doing that, I visited a lot of churches. While I was visiting a lot of churches, I saw a lot of portraits to saints. While I was seeing a lot of portraits to saints, I was like, oh my God, they are just remembered for their death. Anyways, conflicted feelings, escaped the church through my own personal process. No hate to anyone who is still finding joy in that in their lives. But in the process of kind of seeing all these saints and seeing the things that they were remembered for, I started kind of questioning what would it mean if I became a saint in my life. And so this is a poem called "Wishing for Sainthood," completely brand new. You're the first ones to hear it. So it's called "Wishing for Sainthood." I don't want to die a horrific death for a cause, nor a mission, nor intention where the followers will paint my life-lost corpse on copper panels. No, I don't want to be gilded. Not my casket kept in the crypt of some stone and cedar castle. I don't want that. Any of that. But I do wish for sainthood. A remembrance in the church of disco balls and men in heels, where the altar is a DJ booth and the choir a synth soundboard, where the worshipers exercise their hardships by grinding pelvis to pelvis until their heartache leaches out of them, their collective sweat causing humidity in the rafters of this sanctimonious steeple, a cathedral where everyone is someone's yum and each worshiper finds their person or persons to keep them warm through the night, where no one worries what an outside eye might see, but rather relishes in the possibility of being spotted. Call me the patron saint of hydrangea, of shifting pink to blue and back again, and never letting a beard or balding define you, but rather seeing possibility in the mirror each morning, of learning to love yourself and truly, genuinely, wholeheartedly believing in those words of, I love myself. Remember me on whatever damn day you please, or on the day you feel most hallowed. Be hallowed in my name by hollering into the abyss and hearing your voice return with exclamation. Because hallowed is your name in these halls, your chosen name. The one you heard that day you walked by the shop window and caught a glimpse of yourself in something new, a suit or saddle, skirt or spandex. Remember me on that day. And then, on the next day, remember yourself. I do not wish to be a heavenly being telling those below what to do or not to do. Instead, let me be the whisper of permission that speaks louder than the commands of configuration. Let me be the voice inside you that says yes to blue hair, yes to pierced ears, yes to tucking or packing or binding, yes to whatever makes you feel like you, because any shout to do otherwise is just white noise. Let me be a whisper. Yes, that's it. Make me the ancient Nordic god of whispers. Light a candle on Tuesday and let it burn through Thursday. Let it be lavender. Let it be soothing. Let it be medication for the heartache of Monday. Let it be meditation in all you will become. I do not wish to be remembered for me. I wish to be remembered so you will remember you, as I had to learn to remember me. Thank you.
you, Eric Raymond, for your beautiful work and all that you do in the community through the Lane Arts Council. We've got some community figures in the house. We've got another one coming up. On deck is Isaac, and now it's my great pleasure to welcome our former slug queen, but always La Reina in my heart. Please welcome Mija Marie to the stage. Woo! It's like a guest you're hiding.
This looks pretty good. Hi, everyone. This is the first time I'm doing this. I'm actually a visual artist, but I've been known to paint and collage and assemble some words together, so I'm going to share them with you now. You're going to notice a theme. This one is called Undying Love. Please take all my pain. Take all our pain, I silently said to the 300-year-old Douglas fir as I leaned my forehead and whole body against her cool, moist, earthy trunk, letting her hold the weight of me. The codependent in me immediately felt guilty for asking for anything from this magnificent entity who already gives so much. So I asked, what can I give you in return? Feeling depleted, I offered, I can give you my tears. I can give you my breath. I can give you my undying love. She accepted. So I let my tears fall openly upon her mossy bark. I exhaled, deep, warm breath, that it may sink into her. Then I felt her pull me in, ground me to her roots, and take my pain into her, moving it up through her being and back out into the universe. Another exhale. My tears were now of relief, not pain. Through this exchange, she also reminded me of the truth of it all. Pain is energy. It is the same energy as joy. It is the same energy as fear. And the source of it all is love. I took one more slow, deep breath for us and thanked her for her comfort, for being a keeper of the truth. And I promised I would come back to her the next time I forgot. Thank you. This one is called Fruitful Tears. Short. Sliced open like a piece of fruit. Fleshy center, juicy with tears. Exposed to the ruthless elements. Open to the scavengers and the judgers. Feasting on my tender insides. Scooping, sucking, scraping, until I'm hollowed out, empty, ready to receive truth, and my love. Thank you. I have one more. This is a love poem to pain. Our pain is our love, unrequited, unseen, unheard, untouched. Our pain is our love, masked by sorrow, fear, and shame. Our pain is our love, mangled by abuse, neglect, and trauma, until it is no longer recognizable as love to the naked eye. Yet the soul knows and sees all love. Out, open, and free love, thinly veiled and cautious love, deeply buried, anguished love, twisted, gashed, and scary love. The divine in us recognizes all love, and all love is divine.
Such sexy truth, my goodness. Thank you, Mija. Oh, it's like a visual feast for my ears. So I'm gonna say, let's have Nitai on deck, and let's welcome our friend Isaac Paris to the stage. Comedian, teacher, and poet. Woo, woo.
Oh, thank you. This is one I read during the pandemic, but I think I haven't performed it yet, so you get to hear it first.
Hold on. May I?
Yeah,
I just
please.
cannot watch you have to. Okay, struggling.
Okay. Read old books, it's telepathy. From beyond the grave, people can speak, and their timely wisdom can help you cope and realize we really are in the same boat. Accountants and lawyers should stand up and take notes. Farmers and soldiers sacrificed hope so you can sit in that office building and mope. Read children's literature, it's better than you remember. Provided that's secular, at least that's what I postulate. With scholarly evidence we can opine, an escape into fantasy is not a waste of time. Some of us are blessed with paracosms. Others have a noisy chorus and yearn for loneliness. Some take meds to silence voices in their heads, while others cash royalty checks. Ka-ching, ka-ching. And turn down offers, what a flex. Goodbye, goodbye. Monetizing creativity, what an exhausting mess. Let's not romanticize mental illness. Remember that a pro has a team of assistants, or forgive abusers because their work was a success, but let's acknowledge those whose influence is immense. Influence the zeitgeist, sculpting reality, milk the canon, and skim off the cream. Fold that avant-garde into the mainstream. Robert Louis Stevenson said he had Lilliputian hallucinations. He said, I just write down what the little people show. Did he have ghosts for ghostwriters? More likely Charles Bonnet syndrome than evil forces from below, because paranormal situations can have physiological explanations, and nearly every culture has stories of elves or goblins. It's just another incarnation of the Avatar. You can hear a synopsis listening on NPR. The novelist Dostoevsky suffered from epilepsy, but some of these fits sent him into ecstasy, a happiness unimaginable, completely unthinkable, and he's living in perfect universal harmony that led to a feeling of complete serenity. That doesn't sound too bad to me if we can trust Fyodor's testimony. Does it spoil the magic to see? The inspiration for a beautiful sonata could be just hyperactivation of that medulla oblongata? Actually, the interior insula. But if you could take a pill or flip a switch to send a shock to a certain squishy spot and make you write a poem, would you take it? Would you flip it? It's not a pill or a physical thing. That white canvas, go ahead, spill it. That empty notebook, you can fill it. You only have to will it. Reading books is the closest you'll get to telepathy, your chance at someone else's fantasy. A ticket, a ride through their head. They could be from a different continent. They could even be dead. When fandoms and franchises balloon out fast, there's no way to know how long their influence will last. And their thoughts are thought by others long after they have died, as we all say stuff that Shakespeare codified. You'll find connections with the streams you have floated down that rabbit hole and that yellow brick road end.
Isaac. Isaac also is an amazing cartoonist and drawer, and is one of the only people I've ever seen do a poetic performance that also involves a picture for every part of the poem. So next, I'm going to say Serena is on deck back there, and let's welcome Nitai to the stage. Woo woo, our beautiful singstress slash poet. Woo woo.
Okay, it's amazing to be here. I want to tell you that before I ever met Jorah, I had like 5 people be like, oh my God, you remind me of someone and you have to meet this woman. And when I met her, I was like, oh yeah, this is a soul sister right here. Okay, so I don't know if you guys have recognized your patterns in life, like, oh, I have a thing and this is like my thing, where it's a, you know what? Mine is relationships, and I learn and grow so much through them. So the difference in a year is a lot, so I'm gonna get started because I think I can squeeze these in 5 minutes, but feel free to cut me off. Okay, so last year, August 26, 2022, this is called Impermanence. With you, I live in impermanence. For a recovering, anxious attachee, it is walking a razor's edge. As I balance barefoot along its incisive line, ironic as there is nothing linear about your emotional consistency, a million tiny cuts have forced evolution for preservation. Like animals in the wild who shapeshift to survive comfortless environments, so my heart is learning to love, even as you break it again and again. What has been my most fragile organ will become my most formidable. What is it to love each moment with you like it is the last? It is a masterclass in abandoning abandonment. You stood in the early evening, golden hour rays, smiling and sweaty, inventing an engineer's solution to fix the bed you helped me break. And I wondered if I would ever lay with you in it again. I didn't ask though. Everything in my being desired that reassurance. You called me baby and kissed me goodbye. 2 minutes after you walked out the door, I let tears wash clean my weary heart. Am I the biggest fool? A shameless codependent love addict unable to leave a love as painful as it is pleasurable? Or is this the fire that will devastate my forest and allow a new ecosystem to grow? If I could love, I mean truly love, with no expectations, no promises, no commitments, and no consistency, I would be the most powerful woman in the world. If only I knew the answer. If only I knew what I was made of. Is this a trick of transcendence? Or a clever ploy of survival mechanisms convincing me to abandon self for the sake of love? I suppose the brilliance and the fallibility of being human is life exists in the meaning that we make of it. As I sit here spilling my heart onto the page, I pray to better understand my motivations for loving you, because I am choosing to, day after day. All right, and then I'm gonna fast forward, you guys, a good 6 months after the fallout of that one. Yes. When we are entering back into the dating pool and finding ourselves somehow delightfully, slightly unavailable, but in that really amazing way. This is called special. You want to feel special. I understand this on a level that leaves my heart yearning with you. And now I know as never before what it is to love the one I'm with. To step outside of future tripping, is to dance fluidly in what works and out when it doesn't. This apparently is catnip. Presence without pressure. Attention without assumption. Love without expectation. How easy you are to fall in love with when you are frolicking in pure appreciation of what each person brings in the moment. How easy it is to break hearts when you cannot easily answer why each person feels so special, and the impermanence that exists beyond the boundaries of promises extracted as preemptive measures, strategies to keep hearts safe. To love deeply is to risk devastating grief. To survive losing love again and again is to know without a doubt you will rise when grief has broken you. It is a superpower born from pain. After waiting months outside a closed door, I want to belong to no one but myself. I want to savor the dance until my rhythm is solid. Only then can I find the one who moves in tune with my heart beating whole. Thank you.
Oh man. This is like,
You ready? Maybe shove it in there.
yes.
Make the horrible noise.
So, our next reader has a very special form to share with us. It needs a good amount of space. We are exactly halfway through our open mic, so it's time for a special halftime reading. Serena Dory is an amazing writer who also teaches with Wordcrafters on occasion. She's always got the best clothes and the best things on her head. She's rather magnificent to behold. Please welcome a reading from Serena Dory.
Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books. Yeah, it's pretty clear that I'm really cool because I'm reading. It's what I like to do, cause I got that fiction that everyone chasing. All of these books take you so many places. I see those magazines, they making reading hard. They're great when time is short and you can even swap. If you got books or Kindles, just raise them up, cause anything you read is perfect from the start until the stop. Yeah, Devon said she told me don't worry about the size. She says good readers like lots of books to read a night. You know I won't be no closed-minded, blank-looking Barbie doll. So if that's what you're into, then go ahead and move along. Because you know I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, start reading. I'm all about those books, Hey, I'm bringing reading back. Go ahead and check out our gigantic stack. No, I'm not joking. I know you think it's smack. books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about those books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about those books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about those books, about those books. Because you know I'm all about those books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about those books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about those books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about those books, about those books. Because you know I'm all about those books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about those books, about those books. Start reading. I'm all about.
I mean, how often does your open mic have an unexpected halftime, literarily themed belly dance show? Right? I've seen that before. Come on. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Serena Joy actually is an amazing author and teacher of writing in addition to this multi-talented dance ability being displayed here. So many multi-talented people in Eugene. We just can't pick a lane. It's good. Oh, on deck we've got Courtney, and I want to welcome Joshua to the stage. All right, Joshua, come on up here. Thank you for those suspenders. Not enough suspenders in the world anymore.
Should be the right height. Yeah, people ask me, why do you wear suspenders? Keep my pants up. How difficult can this be? Speaking with Jorah earlier, my specialty is to memorize poetry, but I can't memorize my own for some reason, so she is graciously allowing me to do a poem from someone else. But first, speaking with Shannon in the back, wherever he is, and Jorah about teaching poetry, limericks came up, and I think limericks are what the English tongue wants to fall to. It all is about the fifth line. Before I begin this, let me inform those who do not know that the practice of philately is collecting stamps. So I'm driving down the road to work one day, pulled over to the side of the road, whipped out a piece of paper and wrote down, there was a young gal named of Natalie who was known to be fond of philately. A scurrilous scamp wooed her with a stamp. Her reply was, please don't try to flatter me. And a story poem. We love stories. Stories are what bind us together. And all of these poems have spoken a story. So I have someone else's poem. It's from a guy named Bob Dylan. You may have heard of him. Let's see if I can remember it all. The Ballad of Frankie Lee and Judas Priest. Frankie Lee and Judas Priest, they were the best of friends. So when Frankie needed money one day, well, Judas pulled out a roll of tens and he placed them on a footstool high above the plotted plain, saying, take your pick there, Frankie boy, my loss will be your gain. Well, Frankie Lee, he sat right down and put his fingers to his chin. But with the cold eyes of Judas on him, you know, his head began to spin. Would you please not stare at me like that, he said. I know it's just my foolish pride, but sometimes a man must be alone, and this is no place to hide. All right then, says Judas Priest. All right, I'll leave you here. But you best pick which one of those bills you want before they all disappear. I'm gonna start my picking right now, says Frankie. Just tell me where you'll be. Judas points on down the road and he says, eternity. Eternity, says Frankie Lee with a voice as cold as ice. That's right, said Judas, eternity, though you might call it paradise. Well, I don't call it anything, said Frankie Lee with a smile. All right then, says Judas Priest, I'll see you after a while. Well, Frankie Lee, he sat back down, feeling low and mean, when just then a passing stranger burst in upon the scene, saying, are you Frankie Lee the gambler, whose father is deceased? Well, if you are, there's a fellow calling you down the road, and they say his name is Priest. Why, yes, he is my friend, said Frankie Lee in fright. I do know him very well. In fact, he just left my sight. Yes, that's the one, said the stranger, as quiet as a mouse. Well, my message is he's down the road, stranded in a house. Frankie Lee, he panicked. He dropped everything and he ran until he came up to the spot where Judas Priest did stand. What kind of house is this, he said, where I've come to roam? It's not a house, says Judas Priest. It's not a house. It's a home. Frankie Lee, he panicked. And he soon lost all control over everything which he had made while the mission bells did toll. And he just stood there staring at that big house as bright as any sun, with 24 windows and a woman's face in every one. Yeah, up the stairs ran Frankie Lee with a soulful bounding leap, and foaming at the mouth, he began to make his midnight creep. For 16 days and nights he raved, but on the 17th he burst to the arms of Judas Priest, which is where he died of thirst. No one tried to say a thing as they carried him out in jest, except of course the little neighbor boy who helped carry him to rest, and he just walked along alone with his guilt so well concealed, and muttered underneath his breath, he said nothing is revealed. And now the moral of this story, I say the moral of this song, is simply that one should never be where one does not belong. So if you see your neighbor carrying something, go on help him with his load. Don't go mistaking paradise for that home across the road.
Bringing one of our greats into the room. Okay, so here we go. This is, I'm switching order just a little bit to make sure that we can have our underage reader with us before they go. Is this still turned on? Am I still being loud? I feel like this has gone down a bit. What's happened here? I mean, I'm loud myself, but yeah, we lost it.
What happened? Did it go
What
up?
happened? I think we've lost our amplification here on this mic.
Hello.
Oh, hello. You want me to get that one up here? Okay. Why not? That one got tired out. It happens. I can go for a long time. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna just quickly. We are going to hear from Courtny, Brianna, Elizabeth, Richard, Ken. We are in that part of the night. This is like the dregs of the open mic. This is like the good stuff. This is like the part of the ice cream cone where it trickles down into the bottom of the ice cream cone. So everyone who stays for this gets that extra yummy slurp at the bottom. So, okay, on deck is Brianna, or Brianna, forgive me, you'll tell me what's right. And let's welcome Courtny to the stage. All right, Courtny. Woo-woo! Oh, our new community member. Heck yeah, here we go. Let's see if I gauged you right. There we go, there we go.
Thank you. Hi. I'm a soft speaker, so I hope this is okay. Is it okay? Okay, good. I started in broadcasting, talking to people that I couldn't see, and it brought me to talking to people I can see now, so that's good. So this is called The Creases Between Us. It was written as part of a workshop I did last year, so it's one of the first ones I did. So. Start from the center, like this, she said. And we watched her netted fingers scatter a pencil across the thin soundless paper, carving lines into bare spaces on the page in no particular order, darting from one V crease to another, connecting a still sketch of a paper bag. Not a single line she placed was erased, as if the option of clearing an imperfection wasn't real. We were not allowed to touch the bags in front of us. One for every high-balled chair. Part of me wanted her to turn every light on, hide them. The creases between us we smoothed over under our skin. The other part leaned into the muted shadows, caught in the blinds. They smeared fine fingers over my shoulder blades and collar. Trying to come alive in a crowded space. unfolding like the bags, bending back each corner in reverse and slowly. You'll be tempted to draw the outer lines first and ignore them, she said. The straight lines appear to us first, but that's not the way here. People think that drawing is all about what we see, but it isn't. It's about the lines we don't see, bringing them together to form a clear image. Gathered just beyond her, around the eisen table, pictures hung in nettle-wreathed frames with no faces, all black and white or gray. Cities, grasslands, tropical plants with needle hands, streets with jagged sidewalks, houses with windows open and doors shut. They all held an expression of deepness, the look of a pause after a word held finally released. They bent forward towards us, it seemed, out of an intense curiosity, the sight of all our faces interlinked by chairs. They were waiting to see if any one of us would openly question her. None of us did. In my dream, it's another picture. From a shard of eroded memory, a time where clarity leaked out of our tongues and eyes with the strength of roped rain. When you can walk to another with both feet and draw fresh thoughts from your breath to theirs, unbound and warm like the sun's skin caught in lemongrass. But this wasn't that dream. I like to believe that she chose to give us paper bags to start with that reason, awaken the appetite of questions with our hands. Whenever she spoke to us, she looked and spoke to our hands, like they were our speakers. When she walks, you don't hear her coming. She's just a flicker beating in and out of the glazed floor. She takes her time between the stools, catching our blind thumbs in the net of hers, casting them out onto the corner of the page. When she finds me, I can feel her nudge the inside of my ankle before she touches the canvas. The pencil starts to feel somewhere between numbness and carbonation against the inside edge of my left hand. There's charcoal everywhere that looks like healing burns. My bag ruffled at the edges and collapsed inwards at the center. If the heat from a body could speak, it would be this bag, tossed in a moment without thoughts. Why she chose this bag for me, I wasn't sure. The picture on my canvas looked nothing like heat or rapidness, just a tissue forgotten, held for a moment and left to stand. You have more to say about this, she said, looking at all of our hands first and then back to mine. I reached for the jagged line I'd finished until she paused me. No, start from somewhere new. Don't worry about what's already written down. Try with your eyes closed. In my dream, my eyes were closed too. Some echoing plays in a theater, with seats placed in tiers around a hollow stage. We were in the middle, some with bellies stretched toward the rowan blade, others with necks bent low towards the chest of another, laughing and talking at the same time. The tiers were not empty. They held our thoughts for us in ripples, one trickling out onto the ring before it, expanding so that if we walked past, we couldn't forget them. Dreams you can lose if you try to hold on too soon. Here we had nothing to keep our hands bound. We were actors trying to play a part with a bare paper mask to guide us. I thought of the bag again. When you hunch inwards, it could be from pain, or relaxation, or fear, or excitement. What was inside me, a line I couldn't see. When I opened my eyes again, the creases drawn below my hand were wide L's, elbows raised, linking onto a bridge, the tissue between them flying. What else can we learn? She flickered around the table again. Some bags were smooth and open, others were rippled, swollen and patched with water stains. Not one of them was the same. Not one of us was the same. If there was to be any bravery here, I know as much. It would have to begin with the word underneath our faces. I'm talking about the act itself.
Vanessa's person who has recently moved here. Hello, fellow wordy one. Oh man, we might be stuck here, you guys. Woo.
That's okay.
Okay. Let's see who's coming up next before I put this much muscle into this. Hold on. I've got Elizabeth on deck, and I'm gonna welcome Brianna to the stage, or Brianna. Brianna, there you are. Okay, thank you for your patience, young reader. Let's do this. I need this to move up.
What is happening?
Come on up. We're gonna work on this together. Here we go. Okay, that seems about right. Yeah. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Is it Brianna or Brianna?
Brianna.
Brianna! Woo, woo!
All right, thank you. So this is a poem about how you can kind of tear yourself apart in order to make yourself something for someone who doesn't love you. And you can project your own vision of what they should be onto them, when really it's just a reflection of what you want them to be. So, yeah, it doesn't have a name. When you walked in, I didn't see you, so I stared at your face. And I wrote a story, sketched between your freckles. I took your words and placed them upside down along your irises. And I saw I love you, written in blood, across the spiderwebs on your wrists. And your face was so beautiful that I wanted to match it. I wanted to be tall enough to look into your eyes. And when you finally stood in front of me, even if I had to jump and wave my arms to see the words written on the tip of your brain, and make your mind's windows receive me with the curtains pulled back open, and the rain lashing them, even if I had to dump the water over your head, and reach within you, and pull the shutters open myself. And even if I couldn't stand close enough to you, because my eyelashes were in the way, it was okay, because I could remove those too. They weren't there in the first place, were they? And so I had to use the parting shears to match you. I think I might have nicked myself, because I can't find my lungs now, because you took all the breath and inhaled it, and promised to give it back to me, but then you just kept it because it was mine. I belonged to the inside of your ribs. And you gave it back like an old heart that had given up. But then I remembered I had taken something too, so I tried to give it back. And my heart beats and beats and beats, but no matter the blood it thrusts over me, it still cannot expel you from it. Because I had taken so much of you, that there was none of me left anymore. Your heart was mine, and I couldn't live without it. And so you left. You cut it from me. You were gone, and so was I. And then I planted myself, and tears flooded me, and anger heated me, my roots ripped up. And then I felt it, the steady rhythm of something new. And I decided that I liked this one better, because it was a lawful heart. I hadn't stolen it and forged I love you in your handwriting. And then I tore the words off your face because they were mine, and I wanted them back. Because I liked you myself so much better. When I wasn't spare parts that were easy to grab because you didn't want them. You can have your heart back now. I have no need of it. Mine has learned to breathe apart from yours. The oxygen that runs through it was not exhaled by my words pressing out of your chest into my comfort. You have more need of it than I, for I have my own and do not need yours. I took it without your permission. I had no right to claim it as my own, when the size was too big and I had to reach to fit it. Take the pain in my chest and the burden, the steady ringing in my ears and the hair swinging and beating as it forces me on into your life. I give you back your heart, with an apology attached. I'm sorry I wrote lies about you and fed them to myself 4 meals a day, because now I realize that the stars I saw in your eyes were clouds, and you weren't too tall for me to look up to. I was looking down at a reflection. And have one more, a bit shorter, which is basically, I was like looking at my friends' rooms, and I was like, you know, a room is where you spend all your spare time, and I think they say a lot about you. So this is a poem about mine. My room is 4 walls and carpet, covered in paintings, bookcases, string lights, theatrical posters, and a cat. Walls I want to stay there forever, and yet an alarm pulls me into the car each day. A carpet I wish to lay upon for hours, unless there's no more upon, Willis singing out of the screenless windows of the farmland, and the trees that bring the properties around with a fairy tale. Paintings from my friends that whisper I love you in the language of the brushstrokes, quotes and stories and landscapes remind me of them. The bookcases that have overflowed into stacks upon the floor, novels I've read and reread, when the walls of my room feel like they aren't strong enough to keep out the bugs that somehow fly in through my own head. String lights that remind me of stars and cherry blossoms fared upon hair, or snowflakes and raindrops suspended silently in the starlight. Posters I acquired from performances of other people's, and my own, that I want to pull into my mind and let them whoosh out through my eyes like a child's soaring paper planes, until they are the reality around me, and my cat glares in the sunlight, that streams in between my wooden curtains, and rousing me to
tickle his claws in my hair, and I'm supposed to be doing that homework when I stand in the corner. This is what I want to be, what I want to hide in forever sometimes. But someday, I will push down the walls, and they will lie like cardboard castles that were meant for more than this, and the outside world won't come flooding in. I will come spilling out into the universe, and unapologetically splashing the flies that fly towards my eyes. I won't be trying to keep the fear out of me. I will lay down my weapons and stop trying to hit fear over the head with a copy of War and Peace. I will read it as an old friend, and it will take me out into the world, and I will show it everything that we'll do together when I face the universe head on. But that is something that a bold 18-year-old girl who has learned how to survive without her walls will do. For now, I will stay here and learn to be comfortable looking out fear out the window. We will play with each other, and maybe next month we will write each other letters that my mother's pigeons send back and forth. For now, I'll get to know the fear, and feel it to know me, until we can work together perfectly. Thank you.
Okay, we've got one reader left to wrap us up, and I'm going to bring up the community poem after that. Oh, hello. Wow. Yay. Let's welcome Ken to the stage. Thank you, last reader. Woo-woo. Thank you, Richard. How's that for you?
Yeah, that's
Great.
good. Test. Okay, I got two poems, a sad poem and a happy poem. So this first one is about a laundromat. My dryer went out, so I hadn't been to a laundromat in a long time, so I wrote this poem. It's called To Eugene, Oregon with Sad Love. West 11th, 6th, and 7th. Innocence seems like a dream to me now. 30 years since I moved here, not much has changed. Still longing and regret, and a pocket full of rain. The new frontier, Sundance, and the Kiva still remain. Now I'm stuck inside this laundromat on 1st and Blair, hemmed in by foggy window panes and breathing humid, dank air. These are my people, the lost and the poor, doling out precious quarters in a race against time, united in a collective vigil, watching our clothes tumble dry, yearning for the clean break, the fresh start, a return to happier times, perhaps that tender first kiss on a soft summer's day, which occurred long before our blue sky turned gray. And that was the happy poem. And this one's called Remembering You. And pardon the social anxiety. Wrong place, wrong time. Our love began with a lie, and all came crashing down. We both knew it had nowhere else to go. Now years have elapsed, and I moved on. In the meantime, forgotten names, forgotten rooms, the blackest of blues and empty spoons. Now I never think about you anymore, except on a night like this, when the moon is full and the midnight sirens wail, when the sky is lit with lovers' pearls, and I am in a grief just like a jail. Now with one eye on your photograph and one eye on the rose, I will share this frightful truth. If someone ever tells you they love more than once, then they have never loved at all.
Thank you. Did you tell me earlier that this was your first time reading?
In front of an
audience
silver
like
crowd,
this.
yeah.
Oh, in front of a silver. Yes, I love it. What an incredible way to end. Thank you, first time reader. Okay, I need some help getting that community poem over here. Is anyone willing to help escort the poem to the stage? Fantastic. Thank you to those of you who are still here. I feel like at this point it's just a bunch of buddies. Thanks, buddies. Love it. This is a really exciting activity. So the community poem, if you haven't gotten to look at it yet, is formed through an answering of 2 prompts. So we had 2 prompts here tonight. Yes, it has to be a grand entrance. Thank you so much, Joe. It is not an easy thing to carry. There's strings and bells attached in the back. Here we go. There's a lot of tape. Okay, so we had 2 prompts for this community poem. One was, what does celebration sound like? And the other was, what are the wildest words you know? So people answered these prompts in their own ways, and now I am going to read them for the first time and see how they all fit together. Thank you to everyone who participated. Here we go. What does celebration sound like? Dance, like you don't care who's watching. Celebration sounds like walking in a crowded street. Celebration sounds like tomorrow's tears. The wildest words I know are love, wackiness, courage, and splendiferousness. Celebration sounds like meow, whoop, squawk, yippee. Celebration sounds like reverberation of melodic memoirs while gazing at the stars. The wildest words I know are de novo, Latin meaning from nowhere, or from the beautiful, de novo. Celebration sounds like zow wow, we want to join the festival, allow me. The wildest words I know are, let's try. The wildest words I know are quinissima, an essential part of really relating. Celebration sounds like sell a brash son. It took me a second to get that. Celebration. Okay, we got some punny folks. I like it. The wildest words I know are, if there is no ceiling on your dreams, how can I support you in making them real? If there was no ceiling on your dreams, how can I support you in making them real? Celebration is the sigh of 1,000 sweet songs. The wildest words I know are for as long as the day continues. Celebration sounds like bing, bang, boom, bazoom, giggling, giggling, giggle a lot. I don't need you to like me. The wildest word I know is sesquipedalian. It's the love of obscure words. That's an onomatopoeia. Wildness continued. And other pompous wordophiles mean that a battle cry turned victory song. The wildest words I know are off the grid. Celebration sounds like squeeze, sparkles of water jumping off the waterfall, rushing sounds of happy water and mist flying high off crashing waves. The wildest words I know are a senseless snippet from our own flibberted gibbet. Thank you so much for being a part of Wordcraft and Wildcraft tonight. I particularly appreciate those of you who are still here at the end. Thank you for all the words you've given and the words you've received. Thank you, Wordcrafters. Thank you, Wildcraft. Enjoy. Let's do it again sometime.